Today we have Todd Williams, Jason Weiser, and Braden Dempsey in the studio with us. So almost the whole team. Chris is actually here with us too. He's just off cam. So we want to go ahead and dive in because obviously Jason was still on leave when we were filming season 1. And Braden was just busy with some other things and work and stuff at the time. So it's cool to finally have everybody in here and be able to do this collectively. So if it's not too personal, Jason, I'd like to kind of start with you and
go for it.
Talk a little bit about some of the reasons maybe why you were on leave. Obviously, there were some personal family things, and we won't go into that.
We all know going into any case that there is a risk involved, and for the most part, I thought I was immune to any negative things that would happen. But we did a particular case, which actually turned into an exorcism by the time that case was over with. And then from there was some lingering attachments on me that it was hard to even notice. I guess initially it took a long time before I noticed it. Everybody else apparently knew it a long time before that. But, just in general, dragging me down, fatigued, depression, all of the stuff that we hear from our clients, I just wasn't relating it to it being case-related.
Right.
But a lot of the clients, like I said, will report those type of experiences as well, and especially for the demonic cases. That's pretty much the gist of what I've been dealing with for the last couple of years. But with the help of the team, I'm getting back on track. So hopefully we've got a good season coming up.
Yeah. Yep. Well, we're very glad to have you back.
For
all
sure.
feel that way. And it's, it's good for people to hear and realize, because people always ask, how are you not affected by these things that you deal with? And the fact is, we are.
Yeah, every one of us has been.
And it's good for people to hear that and see that, because it also shows them that we can relate to what they're going through. We've been through these things. Todd's a former client. I started this because of what happened to me years ago. Ray had things growing up all throughout his life that affected him from little up.
Yep.
So it does affect all of us. It affects all of us differently. And we deal in the extremes. So there's going to be fallout sometimes, whether it's medically. Todd's had some medical issues and things this past year. And we, of course, in season 1, for those who haven't seen it, do go back and watch season 1. We did have some cool stuff there. And we had an interview with Chris, who is on the team, and my husband, and Sandra, Todd's wife, talking about what our family members and all even experience that live with us. So, there's a lot of interesting things that can be gained from that and our experiences that we can use to help other people.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what we're in it for, is to help the clients, and any relation, I guess, that we can come up with so that they can feel that we're relating to them. It definitely does help put them at ease.
Yeah. So, Ray, you've been busy. You've kind of missed our season 1, unfortunately, and we're glad to have you in the studio, too.
I wasn't invited.
Oh, he was.
We never invite you, but you show up anyway.
I try.
So how is it for you finally having kind of because y'all were kind of partners, you and Jason, before he went on leave. How has that impacted you, not having him for a while and now having him back?
I think a lot of it, which I actually has been a theme for me over the course of the past, I would say, 2 or 3 years. It required a lot of growth. For the longest time, I had him being the levity to my darkness, and just kind of being there we complement each other, and in the ways that one of us might not be strong, the other one is. And it allowed us to be a really good team in that way. And I think not having him kind of forced me into a position where, okay, I need to provide that for myself in a way. I mean, of course, we have the other team members, and it was great being able to finally work with Todd and actually get some time in with somebody else and learn other ways of doing things and applying our skill sets to each other.
Right.
But it definitely did force me to grow a lot. I think both, one as a person, two as an investigator, and then also spiritually. I think it just across the board it was a challenge. But now I'm really excited to kind of implement those changes and that growth and see what we can apply and work towards together now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, knowing your partner or your teammate going into a session is plays to our advantage so often.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of times we'll be finishing each other's sentences in the middle of an investigation. You just know each other that well.
I remember your first one back in a while. I don't even remember. This might have even actually been further. I don't even remember when it was, but I remember it was one of the first cases where you, me, and Todd all worked together. And I remember Todd was in that session, and he kind of got to see firsthand for this was the first time you and I worked together around him, where you and I were just instantaneously, even though you were gone for so long, where it was just like you catching what I'm putting down, yep, and it was just like riding a bike, where we just kind of came back on. It was like, okay, it's like, oh, okay, this is how they operate. This is why this worked, and it also allowed us to be able to, like, okay, as a team, kind of bond us and allow that you coming back in provided, I think, a perfect time for Todd to also kind of give him the time to meld with the group, forge his own connections, to where now when we hit the ground running, it's just like we're a cohesive unit at this point.
Yeah, we're very lucky to have the people that we have in this group.
For sure.
And I think we make a great team all the way around, no matter who's with who out in the field. I mean, you guys obviously have a rapport and a great cohesive thing together, but I feel like Todd and I have really gotten that too. We really have a good partnership where we can read each other. We think very similarly.
But theirs is hilarious.
Yeah. They're a lot funnier.
The insanity.
Reviewing those sessions is far more entertaining for me. But
I think that's our goal.
I think especially with where we are right now, obviously Chris doing all the behind the scenes work is phenomenal. It's one of those things that, especially when it comes to the investigative standpoint, especially with the core four of us right now, it is one of those things where if you were to switch a partner between, say, I'm working with you, or I'm working with Todd, or I'm working with Jason, each of those teams, despite the fact that we all do think very similarly when it comes to just how we approach clients and cases, it is very much so a very different outcome or a very different target. Like when we work, when it comes to spirits, like Amy and Todd, it's one of those things where y'all are very, I guess, stalwart. Y'all are like the wall, I guess, in a sense of y'all are very much like, this is the ideology, this is what we're doing, and you're good when it comes to clergy spirits or spirits that may be kind of on the back foot and kind of need that stabilization. Jason and I, we're more dynamic, and it comes to we're pivoting around, kind of skirting the outsides.
All due to me.
Yeah. Take all the credit, but no, it's one of those things where we're good at skirting around the outsides and finding the unorthodox approaches to how we deal with spirits, because oftentimes no case is cut and dry. Todd and I, it's very much so we are very analytical, so a lot of the time he and I are just picking things apart left and right, and it's good to throw us into a sense to debunk or to think more, I guess, like I said, analytically, where it's more, okay, what's the data, what's the facts, let's get down to the core nitty-gritty of this, and he's able to kind of back me up with that. When you and I get together, it's, okay, we're tackling the heaviest hitter, because it's like, all right, we need to go after something, okay, well, we're going to go after something. And those dynamics switch perfectly and complement each other. Everybody complements each other in their own way, and I think that's part of what makes the team such a good cohesive unit.
Well said.
And everyone is equally demented too. That plays a big factor in it.
Equally.
Oh yeah.
Equal.
No, you ain't getting on top of
But
me.
we have to be honest. It's a very specific type of crazy. It's not just a general crazy. There's a specific type of crazy.
I've got the
the
prescriptions to prove it.
For those of you who believe paranormal investigators or any of that whole realm of things is crazy, I challenge you to come into a car ride with us, and then still, if you think that's crazy,
Stick around for the investigation.
Exactly, yeah.
Don't do it.
we can't film those and put that out. That's too crude for regular consumption. So
Mature audiences only.
yeah.
Which leaves us out, actually.
Exactly. What do you mean mature?
Can't even watch our own stuff.
Yeah. Just one solid beep.
So on a slightly more serious note for a second, I know obviously, Jason, you were dealing with personal things and all while you were away. So notwithstanding wanting a break from that, no doubt, what do you think you missed most about being here and being part of this while that was going on?
The right answer would be helping the spirits. It's definitely a big thing, but it's the camaraderie. I mean, having the support group with everybody. Not that I ever lost that. Everybody, the whole team's been behind me the whole time through all of the crap I've been dealing with. But having that fellowship, basically, I mean, it really makes a big difference.
Yeah, we are very much a para family, if you will.
Yeah.
As much as we are with our immediate families, and of course 2 members of this team are my immediate family. So this is my immediate family as far as I'm concerned. I look at both of you that way too. So, and I know even being our newest member, you feel very much that way.
Oh, absolutely.
You would do anything for anybody here. So
For sure.
Geez, newest member. That's we don't have a lot of turnover. 2 years, still the newest member.
it's an impressive thing, right? That's a good thing. That being said, we will plug it. By the time this airs, maybe we're still looking for new members, maybe we're not. Currently, we are while we're filming this, so we'll see.
I want you for the U.S. government.
But, it definitely takes a certain kind of person, as you can see and have seen.
If you are not that person, I do not want you.
Apply now.
After I just told him I didn't want him.
Yeah, that was not very nice.
I'm not a nice person.
Well, no, we know that, but they don't know that yet. Well, they know that now.
Yeah, learn and learn well.
So what do you guys think? And this is for each of you. We'll just go down the line. What do you think is the most important thing we could do and or teach people through this podcast? It's kind of deep.
There's
Okay,
so
if somebody
many different
else
answers
thinks
to
of
that.
their
I have
answer
mine
first.
easily.
Okay, well, we'll let you go first. Give us a moment.
Perspective. I think if it comes down into a word, it's perspective. Oftentimes, when it comes to the paranormal, a lot of the fear is strictly perspective based. A lot of it's a lack of knowledge or whatever it is. And like you had said earlier, amongst ourselves, it's very fellowship. It's that camaraderie that binds us. A lot of the time, I think a lot of people are lacking that. I think a lot of times that plays into issues, and I think being able to give people the information and perspective on mindset when it comes to, okay, this is how we look at things, and being able to offer our perspectives on it allows them to better interface and better develop themselves. I know in a past podcast that we were on, Hank's Think Tank, go ahead and plug him there. We love you, Hank. The last one we did, I had spoken about, I think that there's a greater need for unity and how that plays into not only society but the paranormal and us as a group. And I think being able to offer those perspectives and our stories and how our perspectives shaped those experiences is the greatest takeaway that we can possibly offer, at least in my opinion.
And I guess another thing is just to everybody, so that people can see that we're just normal people. A little weird, but normal people.
I think we've blown that illusion.
Make people think we're normal people. Maybe that's what it is.
Hello, fellow human. It's
been a long time since I've inhabited a body, so I'm a little awkward. But the paranormal can be terrifying to people that are not in that, and this is just another day at the office. But peace, I guess, is probably what I would want people to take from this. Yeah, it might seem scary, but there's answers that can be gotten, even if you might not be able to get those answers yourself.
Yeah.
You know who to call.
SPI.
I would have to say compassion and understanding. You have to be compassionate and understanding to these clients. I know that from being on the other side of the looking glass on that. They're already terrified what they're going through. Nobody's going to believe them. They think that everybody's going to think they're crazy, so they need somebody to understand and sympathize with that. And I would say that would have to be mine.
I think to that point as well, that's what very well said, Todd, but I think that also goes into a lot of people think, oh, they're just going to come and chase these spirits out. We're equally as compassionate towards the spirits.
Yes.
At the end of the day, whether they're inhuman or human doesn't factor into it. They're all deserving of compassion. They're all deserving of peace. They're all deserving of unity. All of these things, yes. I think that's something that can really that overall, I think all three of those things that we all just mentioned play into each other very well.
Absolutely.
Really unite us as a group and allow us to make an impact.
And for those of us, or those who don't know, or maybe haven't watched season 1 or followed us as closely, 3 of us at this table are clergy. So, we look at every soul as valuable, whether it's a living human soul of our clients or a soul of one of these spirits. Every soul is precious and priceless.
True.
So we want to help everyone, living and non-living, that we possibly can, and that is the job, truly.
For sure.
To bring every soul to peace as much as we possibly can.
Right.
So we've had some we've had some turnover. That term came up earlier, so I use it. We've had some people that were on the team for a very long time that are no longer with us. People grow, people change, and life circumstances and things change for people. I think we're all accepting and understanding of that. As that's changed for us, I think there are things within the 4 of us that have kept us here. That we really feel strongly about, that this crew, the core 4 as we call it at this moment, really have that calling. I think more than anyone who's come and gone had it. That's something that we have in solidarity.
Yeah.
True.
That's extremely important. And I don't think a lot of people understand the dedication that this takes. The risk of danger, personally and at our homes that we go through, but on cases as well. And like you were saying before, that camaraderie, we have to trust each other with our very lives when we're out there in the field. A lot of people think this is just fun and exciting. I would say, I love it, but I can't ever use the word fun. Every time somebody says, well, you're going to have fun ghost hunting this weekend, that's not how I describe it.
Yeah,
I do.
Well,
I describe the group as fun. The actual hunt itself might not be.
Right.
Yeah, it's serious. You hear fun and exciting for people that are just dabbling for the most part.
Right.
I don't think the hunts are
it's
exciting for us anymore.
No, there's not a lot of things that make us feel excited in a hunt, but it's just business as usual.
Yeah.
Right.
That's not to say that we don't get some form of pleasure.
Yeah, definitely.
Relief from it.
There's more disappointment there as well. Every time something happens, did you get it on camera? No.
Yeah, they love to do it off camera, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, that leads into another thing too, which is we talk about this a lot of times when people interview us, and it even came up. We had an interview prior to this tonight, and off camera, it came up how we are kind of desensitized.
Very.
Yeah.
I say kind of. It's not really a kind of. We are.
I might take the biggest spot on the group for that.
You know, and it's hard for people to understand. I know sometimes people probably feel like maybe we should be more alarmed or something when they, you know, recall certain events. Smaller things that might happen, like say an object moving slightly or something like that. To a normal person, that can be quite terrifying. You know, to us, it's odd. We have a different kind of, I guess, perception on everything because of what we do.
Yeah, and the major paradigm shift, I think, in having us, other than the desensitization that we all have, we know that most of the spirits that we're going to encounter are not really out to hurt anybody.
Right.
And that's got to be conveyed to our clients as well before we even get there. Amy's working on that. But they're just another person that needs to talk, as what most of the spirits are. So, and all they're doing is just trying to get attention, you know, in any way that they can so that they can be heard.
Even if they want to wake you up at 4:30 a.m.
Yeah.
by your ankles.
I think that's one of the things too. Like you were mentioning earlier, when it comes to complementary things with the whole desensitization, that was one of the things that I initially struggled with when Jason did leave, because for so long he was always very empathetic with the clients, very present with them, very emotionally supportive while I was doing the more spiritual side of the legwork. And it was one of those things where after he left, I kind of found myself more in that role than I had been in the past.
Oh, you would suck at that.
Look, man.
He pulled it off.
It's become one of those things where
Apparently.
I had to kind of grow into that, and there were probably some missteps along the way. I won't say that there weren't, but there was definitely a bit of a learning curve when it came to that. Especially me, like I had said, I feel like I am one of the most desensitized just due to my perspective on things. But it all kind of comes back around, you know. It's one of those things where the desensitization, it's not really so much that we're desensitized. I mean, we may not be shocked by what's happening, but we're always present for our clients and present for the spirits, and I think that's what kind of anchors it all.
True.
Well, and that's something too that, you know, depending how closely you follow us, you may or may not know. Obviously, we are a clearing team. We do intend to clear almost every case that we go into. There are a few businesses and special cases where we have it, but generally that is our goal in every case. I think one of the major things that separates us from other teams is you always hear, you know, you watch the shows and things like this, and you always hear, can you make a noise?
Yeah.
Can you do this? You know, and when people call, they're like, well, I've seen the shows and I've seen them, so I kind of know what y'all do.
No.
Probably
No.
not. You know, we are very different in that, and I truly admit this, we play counsel to the dead.
Yeah.
We help them work through their issues so that they want to go to a better place. And I don't think that's a common thing.
I think one of the things, like what even in our emotion, our beginning spiel when we're initially interacting with spirits, one of the things that we commonly say is, we mean you no harm, we mean you no disrespect. We're here, like, we're not out to, in a way, make them feel like a performative circus trick. We're not here to get you to make a noise. We're not here. I mean, yes, it's great from an evidence standpoint, but we're here just as much to counsel the spirits as we are the client.
We're there to hear their stories.
It's amazing how much psychology goes into ghost hunting when done right.
Right.
It's a lot of psychology.
With the clients as well as with the spirits. And even
And
kind
amongst
of amongst
ourselves,
ourselves. Yeah. That's a piece that I think a lot of people miss. And we don't have anybody on this team currently, and I'm proud of that is like, I just want to see some cool stuff. You know, I kind of laugh when I hear...
They're not going to show us cool stuff?
What?
They're not going to show us cool stuff?
I'm out.
I kind of laugh though, you know, when I hear like amateur hunters and things say stuff like that, because after everything we've seen, you know, cool stuff is a really high bar, and then on top of that, it's like, what are you going to show me at this point?
Unless you see it, you make it physically manifest, and it's like running around doing stuff, then I am not gonna be shocked at all.
I think we were just talking earlier. I can't even watch the paranormal shows anymore. Same with everybody that, you know, that because we're picking apart the show. No, you wouldn't do that. No, you can't do that. That's not the way that works. It takes a little bit of fun out of life there, but we recover that fun elsewhere.
I think too. It's for me, like you said, we're a clearing team. One of my least favorite things about any of the paranormal shows is you'll watch these people come in and investigate. You'll learn that, okay, this is probably a spirit from this time who suffered this. Okay, bye.
Right.
You just left it there. Like, that's a person. They are not happy.
Exactly.
What?
And
now
that
you've
really,
made them mad.
Yeah, exactly.
that really comes into why we got into kind of doing what we do, because originally when this team very first started, and I'm the only one sitting here now from when this first started, other than Chris, who's behind the camera, of course. But, you know, when it first started, we were that, just like everybody else. We went and, okay, here's what we think you have, and best of luck with that. And if you have a question, you can call it. Yeah. There became a point of, these people need help. These spirits need help.
For sure.
We need to do more. This is not enough.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, when the really big changes on this team started happening for us. That whole shift of mentality was huge in this and shaped what we are now.
Yeah.
And that's something I'm extremely proud of. I think that's why our success rate has been so high.
Yeah.
You know, and I do, you know, maybe some more than others on this team, I definitely feel there is a spiritual component, if you will, to that there is a higher power that is looking out for us, because I feel like we'd have been handed our asses a few times by now if that was not the case. I mean, I kind of look back at some of our cases and things we've been through and go, how are we still here intact and okay? I mean, you know, that's not luck.
No.
That's definitely, to me, divine intervention and divine being looked after. And I feel like, you know, to the naysayers who say, you know, you guys are doing blessings, you're doing exorcisms, that's a job for the church. You know, there are people who feel that way and who look at us and think that we're wrong for what we do.
The thought came to me earlier, and I'm going to point this out. For those people, for the people watching this that feel that way, I'm going to go ahead and point something out. You have a group of people preaching peace, fellowship, unity. What's a church?
Yep.
And as a general rule, good luck getting help from the church.
Yeah, especially. We don't judge, man.
You know, I am not one to
Okay, maybe a little.
want to badmouth anybody in the field in any way. Not that they're particularly in the paranormal field, but there is a crossover there, obviously. You know, and I have seen priests that have done extraordinary things.
For sure.
We know of some. There are some that we follow on our social media accounts and so forth that I give great support to, that have gone that distance. But there is a hierarchy, and they have rules to follow. And unfortunately, not everyone in that hierarchy is on the same page.
Yeah.
And is willing to do some of the things that need to be done. So I don't fault the entire system or the church as a whole, but I do fault those individuals who are not helping their fellow man.
I think a lot of it comes down to when you're part of a larger organization like that, there are more rules and there's less room to exercise work in the gray. You cannot work in the gray as much, and a lot of what we come down to is not black and white. We may have a troubled spirit or a demonic entity even that is struggling with their identity, struggling with something from the past, whatever that might be, and we're there consoling them as well, which when you divert everything into black and white, it's like, okay, this is my enemy, this is what I'm here to do, and that's not always often the case. It just lends itself towards things getting thrown to the wayside.
Well, and I think, there's an old adage that works well with that too, which is the squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Yeah.
We've definitely learned over time in doing this that often the spirit that is causing the most trouble, if you will, or the most upset or angry is the one who needs our help the most. And if we help that entity, then it's usually much easier to help the others. Often they will follow a powerful entity, whether it's negative or positive.
Yeah.
So if we do good work with that entity and get that entity on our side, so to speak, then we have a much better success rate with the rest of the case.
Yeah, for sure.
So, how do you feel, Todd, about Jason being back? You've been kind of quiet so far this episode.
Well, I remember first coming in the first time or two I worked with Jason, I was like, and I met him first on my case when I was a client, and he made me and my entire family feel more comfortable.
I remember when you fell into the glue.
Do we have to get entertainment at my expense all the time?
Jason truly is a core of this team, and he makes the rest of us feel comfortable. Comic relief, of course, but I highly trust him. I'm glad to see him back. We missed you.
Glad to be back.
Missed you a lot.
Well, we say comic relief, and you always get this look of like,
and then you call yourself that, and then you laugh.
You
bring joy to the team.
You do.
It was a low bar. I mean, they're all dealing with death all the time, so the bar was pretty low.
That's true.
Fair enough.
You have something though about you, an air about you that you kind of light everybody up when you're around. All of us and the clients. I mean, our clients love you. Obviously, for those who follow us, we've put out some posts about Jason's return and Jason coming back, and I mean, there's overwhelming response on that. You
Everybody
are very
just
loved.
all around
appreciate
feels
all of that.
better
Yes.
when Jason's around.
Yeah. You make us better people, and you make our skills at their peak when you're around.
I definitely appreciate it.
Yeah.
I struggled for a long time. Where's my place on the team? I'm not as sensitive as this person, not as good at this as this person. Like, what am I good for? And me and Amy's had this talk several times. Yeah, okay, I'm a warm body, but I just wasn't feeling like I, had my role. But they have.
I think at times you think of, and not to, I guess, simplify it, in a way, you look at things very much so in everything needs to be an assault role, right?
Yeah.
So if she's the leader, she's the assault that is fairly well versed in everything. Todd is the tank that you send in, the heavy armor, right? You send me in and I'm just overwhelming firepower. You're like, well, I'm not a sniper, I'm not this. But every team needs their medic. Every team needs a support role.
It's a great way to look at it.
You've always looked at yourself as, I need to be fit one of these type guests, without looking at the supporting role that none of these whatever other roles could be do what they do without.
And it's taken me a long time to come to that realization. I mean, whether it's poor self-esteem or what, it's taken a long time for me to see that I really do have a benefit to the team.
Well, everybody has their separate role. Nobody's the same.
No.
Apart by ourselves, we're just a piece of us. You have to have all of us together, unity to make the team.
Work perfectly fluid.
Yeah, and that's across the board. One of us may have more faith than the other. One of us might have more intrigue, or more, be chomping at the bit a little more. One of us might be more empathetic. But all of those things, and we may all have some element of that within ourselves, but we all complement each other. And
Exactly.
it's like where one of us falls short, the other one's picking up the slack. And I think that is one of the more important components of this group, especially now because of the mindset that we all share when it comes to it. we are more cohesive and can function better in that way.
Unity.
Yep,
Absolutely.
across the board.
So you haven't had very many, obviously, since you've come back. We've talked about a lot of cases. There's been, and of course we won't say the name. We never do for protecting the client's privacy. But there has been one particularly challenging case that we've been working kind of since the beginning of your return. And we've had a lot of, unfortunately, stalls on that case due to medical issues and things with family, which I think personally is being affected
Oh yeah.
by what they're dealing with. How, I don't know how to phrase this exactly, how was it for you coming back from a hiatus period
Quite a
and
long
coming
one.
right into something like that? How do you handle that?
Anytime that you are away for any length of time, and it's been a while that I've been off the team, out of investigations, you don't really know what to expect. The whole mindset, you can never go home. It's just not going to be the same. No, we got back into that case and just rolled as if there hadn't been a day gone by. It's because the team is so well coordinated that it just falls together.
Yeah, I think that's most definitely the case, and I think too, to speak to that, there are all times like it's not like we're a perfect well-oiled machine all of the time. Each of us have had our moments of, is this right for me, or a question of faith, or a question of ability, and we're always there to remind each other that even if you may feel like a certain way, that's not necessarily always the case.
Yep.
So this is one for everybody at the table, but we'll kind of go in order again with whoever has their answer first. But without naming names, just giving area, obviously, again for client protection. What do you feel is the case that most profoundly affected you, and why?
Yeah, I'd have to say, what was that? Was it
You could even
the
count
one
your
where
own.
they were
Good.
all stacked on top of each other? It kind of took me out. Second investigation.
The
Area.
the one with the
Cow.
ancient.
Yes. Yeah.
I'd have to say that one. That was, yeah.
That'd be a little further east Texas. Yeah. Small town, so we won't. Yeah. we
That
won't
one,
give
that
the area.
one, that one. To be fair, too, when it came to you especially, I mean, that forced you to kind of play that Jason role of. I know you got a bunch of praise from the clients at the end of that one, and you kind of got your laurels from that.
Yeah, well, they tried to whack me on the second investigation I didn't make.
Yeah.
And when he says that, he literally means they tried to kill him. Not the clients, the entities that we were dealing with.
Yeah.
Todd has a specific, we won't go into it, but
Yeah.
medical condition, and they exploited that condition as
They can
these
play
things
on
tend to
things
do.
like that.
Yeah.
And each time we were set to go to
It
that
would
case.
flare up
every
every
single
time, then it would go away immediately.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the doctors were stumped. They
Yeah.
couldn't explain why you were on medication,
Yep.
so it shouldn't have been happening.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I could see where that would be very profound for you, because that's the realization, not just the talk of, I could be endangering my life, but the realization of, wow, I really am.
And at the same time, on the flip side of that, how I felt, with the clients afterwards.
Right. What you
Because
did.
that was a tough case. So,
What you went through and what came out of it.
yep.
I guess for me, there's probably two cases that I could say were the most profound for me, and not to discredit any of the other ones.
Right.
But the one out in San Antonio, of course, caused me all kinds of problems for a while afterwards.
You and me both.
Yeah. But then as far as client relationship and stuff, there was one client that really stuck with all of us, I think, out I-10 West a little ways. That was that case, the client and the case in general, I think was a big turning point for me. because it was not long after I had gotten onto the team. I think it was about 6 months after I joined the team, and that case was tested all of our limits on what we were getting and what our medium was seeing, and everything. It was an interesting case, to say the least. You weren't on that one.
No, I was not on the team
Nah,
yet.
that was pre him.
Yeah.
Free me.
For me,
Yeah, before you two.
I don't know. It's the easy answer is San Antonio, but looking back, I can think of specifically 6 that all impacted me in a very, very profound way that maybe not all of the others did. My very first one, as much as that wasn't really a wow factor case, had an insane amount of lingering after effects. That one impacted me. It showed me, one, that I was capable of doing it, one, that growing up with things, I always knew I was sensitive, and I would always had experiences, but it was very point blank, right in front of you. It's real. This is it. So that, another would be, there's a case out in Jasper, Texas, where consistently going back, it was challenging me. There was some new aspect. There was something that I hadn't seen before. There was some where I was continually being forced to grow as an investigator. San Antonio, obviously. I mean, you don't walk out of an exorcism the same way you walked in, and obviously Jason and I were very negatively impacted by some things that we weren't quite aware of at the time. As well as there was a lot of things going on with that case and around that case that were very, very pivotal personally for me. Then there was one, and I'm trying to remember where this one was. Where was that case? One where I had a break. The one where I had the breakdown in the car about a certain spirit that we happened to run across, who just appeared there. He wasn't actually there. The one that was a plantation at one point.
Oh, I think if I'm not mistaken, that's way down south.
No, further north. The one with the plantation.
Oh, you're talking about Cedar Hill.
Yeah, that one.
Oh yeah, I remember
that one.
Cedar Hill.
That one really rocked me emotionally.
That is a suburb south of Dallas.
Yeah,
for those who
that one really rocked me emotionally. And then I think there have been a couple of clients since then that have been, I guess, we've seen a lot due to the areas that they live in, or just things like that, and just being able to, from a client perspective, that have impacted me. There are 2 that really made a fairly big impact on us, I think, as a group, that we all came to just we almost kind of fell in love with the people a little bit.
Yeah.
And those were all very impactful. One of which was my first case back after a long hiatus after San Antonio. Jason and I, it was one of the first ones we worked post me coming back, and it was okay, hold on, the training wheels are back off again. We're dealing with a heavy hitting entity, and that one there was so many little intricate, unique parts of that case. Playing off of time, playing off of situations, and all the homeowner's past connection to this spirit, and all of these things. And I think, like I had said earlier, San Antonio is the easy answer because it's the most profound across the board for me. But I think every case, in its own little way, is really, really impactful. I could go through the Rolodex, but the easy answer for me is San Antonio, without a doubt.
I have to add my first case. You're gonna do what?
Yeah, that was Todd was definitely thrown into the deep end in a way that I can honestly say nobody on this team has been. We had a demonic case that was out of state.
Oh, yeah.
And at the time we were starting to go through those transitions. We were a little shorthanded with who could go. And I was hesitant to even bring you because it was your first case.
I got laid out on that one.
But I was needing him because this was the clearing. You were at the investigation. This was the clearing. We had at the time there a medium who was former investigator on the team, myself, and I needed someone else, so I brought poor Todd. You were sacrifice and tribute that night. That case was actually the house itself shared land with a cemetery. Literally, if you took a step off the driveway, your foot was in the cemetery. So, a little intimidating on that factor for many. When we got there, during the meditation part of the clearing that our medium was in, so she was not available to help anything and kind of more needed looking after. And of course we have a terrified client. And there came a point during the clearing where I had to go do some things and do a blessing of the land in a specific context of things. And this is his first case. I look at this man and I say, okay, I need you to sit here and watch the medium and watch the client and protect them and keep them okay. As we're seeing things, diabolical things in the next room. And I need you to do this because I'm going to go outside and I'm going to bless this cemetery and this house on the outside, and then I'm going to come back in here. And he's looking, you're going to do what? You said that. No, I can't. And I need you to sit down and do what I'm asking. And he did it. I mean, credit to this man.
On the flip side, it was accidental automatic growth.
Accidental automatic growth.
Right off the bat. So yeah, you definitely, I don't think anybody will ever be able to top that intro story. I hope not. I wouldn't want anybody to have to top
I hope not.
that.
That's not actually.
And that just goes to show how much faith that we have to have in our team members. You were putting him in a really rough spot for a first investigation.
I think the only reason, honestly, that he was able to come through that was because he already did have so much faith from being a client.
Yeah,
exactly.
Had you not have had that, that would have
that'd have been totally different.
I could not have put him in that position and trusted that if I didn't have that prior knowledge of him.
Yeah.
So that was a different, as usual, with you it was a different situation than
For sure.
and it ever is.
Here, swim. He's got it.
But I thank God for each and every one of you, and I am glad that we are still the core four and we are still here together. We're going to keep doing it. We're going to be there for everybody who needs us and just keep growing and get better and better at this.
That's right.
Is my plan. So, thank you for joining us today. We hope you liked today's episode and finally getting to see Jason and Raiden here in the room with us. So, we've got a lot of great things going on this season,
Yes, we do.
and hopefully you're enjoying all of it. So, we'll be seeing you again soon.
We will
Tune in,
see
guys.
you again.